Hey guys, this is JL Phoenix, and welcome to today's stream. So, as you know, or some of you may know, today I'll be joined with a special guest, Dad Phoenix. He is one of my, I say, my big inspirations for really getting into art and everything. And I wanted to take the time to talk to him about, his journey of being an artist and everything. So go ahead and give it up for Dad Phoenix.
Hey, what's going on, everybody?
Yeah. So, like I said, today we're going to be talking a little bit about his art journey, and we're going to be learning a bit about that. And I'm also going to open up the floor for Q&A later on. But in the meantime, let us get started. So, how you doing, Dad Phoenix?
I've been doing wonderful. Glad to be here, and let's get started.
Yeah. So, without further ado, let's start getting into the questions. So, what got you on your art journey in the first place?
Yeah. Gotta say, when I was a kid, a long time, we started out drawing with stick figures and stuff. I know many artists get that way. It started drawing stick figures, then we started drawing little people, animals, and stuff like that. But what really started setting it off was Godzilla. Started watching a lot of Godzilla. Started drawing dinosaurs, monsters, dragons, and stuff like that. And then the three-headed monster, King Ghidorah and Gigan. And then after a while, we started drawing superheroes. That was the beginning of the drawing days.
Yeah. Sounds like you had a whole lot of inspiration from TV and all that stuff, right?
Well, that too, and the imagination as well. Sometimes you see these war movies and stuff. You want to try to draw the planes and tanks and stuff like that, and you just started drawing. And before you know it, you start to look at those things. Like, again, I said Godzilla was a big inspiration growing up. I'm telling you.
All right. So, on to our next question. Sorry, I had to grab my book. All right. So, with the whole, you've been drawing a lot and everything as like a kid and whatnot, but are you still drawing now?
Yeah, I'm still drawing today. At some times when you actually growing up, I said me and my brother for a while growing up young, and that's all we did. We got home from school, we started drawing. We each had our own imaginary comic book business. So he had SMS Comics, I had ALS Comics. Of course, that's our initials, and we would just create stuff, constantly create. And like I said, as today, I still draw, but not as much as I used to. Well, thanks to JL Phoenix to get me back on the ball. So I had to knock the dust off my pens and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm still drawing today.
Okay. With that being said, so, with you drawing today, ooh, I did not mean to hit the mic. I'm sorry. But with you drawing today and everything, have you ever been discouraged from drawing? Like, I know a lot of artists, they face that kind of problem even today, but have you ever had that?
Absolutely. Growing up, during the time I grew up, most things that people talked about was either going to school, getting a good job, working hard, and that you couldn't make a living off of drawing because at that time, we didn't have the internet widely available and social media and see the things. We didn't have that. So parents and stuff, they would just look at us like, yeah, become a doctor, become a nurse, fireman, do something. But you can't sit there and draw and make a living. So yeah, sometimes when people don't understand your vision, and not everybody's gonna understand that vision, but blessed be today that you have social media, you have YouTube, you can see other people who doing what you want to do. So you can see, man, if they did it, I can do it too. So yeah, there's been time that I've been discouraged. Yes.
Cool. Yeah. You know, because you've told me your story like a gazillion times about, how it was growing up with you and your brother drawing and everything. And that, you also told me before that you never exactly like pursued it completely as a career. Like you did go into graphic design, but you didn't exactly, pursue like doing comics and all that stuff. Do you like regret not doing that, or?
I would say I don't have regret. I wouldn't call it that, but I would call it more of a disappointment, knowing that what I know now. But as we are artists, as you understand, we know that when you have a vision for something, it really doesn't die. In other words, I was like, man, if I were to continue to do that, look what I'll be right now. But as blessing would have it, I have you guys that I can continue to pour into. But I wouldn't say I have like what you call regrets. It's just a little disappointment that I didn't have anybody to encourage me to go forward with my vision. Although that's all the information they had at the time. They had nothing to go on. How could they understand? All they did know is work hard, job, and stuff like that. They didn't understand any vision. The proper artists they heard were all dead, Michelangelo, and they saw they made money after they died, but they couldn't enjoy it, right?
Right. Yeah, that's so true. I mean, and I guess that's one thing that I find very interesting, like going from how it is today to how it was back then when you were a kid coming up, that people didn't really see art as like something you could really go in and like make a actual viable career. Like, yeah, sure, we had like animation studios and all that stuff. You had Marvel and DC as the comic book companies at the time and everything, but like people were like, eh. Like nowadays, it has grown a little more respect. That's not saying we still don't have, some people not understanding it, but I would say that it's definitely better now to really truly pursue that as a career.
It seemed like an impossibility back then to get into the major places. Like Disney was a big kid on the block, Marvel, DC, and growing up in this area, it was like, well, it would take a genie or something to get you there. So again, the connection to be able to actually get in these studios was a long shot. So you didn't actually believe that you can get there unless somebody showed you the way. It was like that locked door that you couldn't get in unless somebody gave you the key or gave you a backspace pass. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah, I get you. So with that being said, because I kind of want to touch back to what you said earlier about how you and your brother would use or rather how you would draw your own comics and all that stuff, right? So what were some of the tools and stuff that you guys use? How did you create these things? What did you use at your disposal? I think that's a better way of asking that question.
Yeah. So you're a little teenager and you didn't have any money yet until you were old enough to get a job. Again, we used whatever we could. We used, of course, the crayons, pencils, highlighters, markers, pens, and chalk and paint.
Whatever you had at disposal.
Basically, it was whatever we could get our hands on. Paper was something that was like, the drawing was something like, oh man, because again, like your parents was not gonna spend money on that type of stuff because they didn't see it as something, a possibility to become, like making a lot of money. They knew about doctors, lawyers, and all that kind of stuff. So we would use this stuff, whatever we could. And we were inspired by a lot of things. I think what made it even greater for us when Transformers came out, G1, the best Transformers there is. Not that stuff they got today. I don't know what that is. I don't know what that is. So, that I can go on for days. they teased us in the first Bumblebee like they was gonna make the G1 farms, and then that second movie, well, we know what we got. So
Yeah.
we used to create our comics, and then we would make original characters. We had a lot of original comics. I have some today that I showed you when I was talking to you about you building your OC and how you do what this channel and how to connect your characters to stories and all that kind of stuff. So we would continuously draw. He would create something, I would create something. But we use all these pens, markers, you name it, just so we could create, because we love creating. And I always told you that, and your brother, that your art is yours. The way you draw is yours. It doesn't matter what other people think about it. I know today on YouTube, you got these gurus saying this is the only way. A creator can use whatever he uses or she uses. It is your art, your style. There are shows that I see on Cartoon Network and certain channels like that back in the day people would laugh at. Guess what? They're making money off of it. So yeah, when you're a creator, you're going to use whatever you at your disposal because you like to see something from nothing to something, this finished product. So whatever you could use, you use it. And I was saying to you today, most of these people, if they lost the internet, lost their computer, they couldn't draw.
Dang, you just like dropped the mic on the whole thing. You just came in and just like, bam. By the way, bam.
A true creator creates with anything. They're not just stuck on one substrate, stuck on one vehicle. They love to take it and push the envelope, so to speak. Like, I draw this style. Let me try this style. Let me try this style. Then they're going to say, do it this way. You know, one thing that bugged me, you already know this.
Yeah.
People doing these tutorials, quick keys. I'm like, whatever. I'm like, that person that's paying me to do this art don't care how I do it. He don't care if I did Control Z or whatever it is. You don't have to do it the way. Find the little button that says file, drop down, click it. It still work the same.
All right, you're getting into the weeds.
Well, that's one of the things that bugged me as an artist. You know? It holds a lot of young artists back. That's why I'm saying this.
Yeah.
And I tell you guys, let's listen to this live stream. Your art is yours. Your style is yours. Get it done however you feel. You know what I'm saying? Just do it.
Yeah, that's to 100. Straight up. Couldn't say it better myself. So you know what? If any of you out there are feeling feeling discouraged, or you're feeling down about your art, you feeling like you're not, doing great with it or whatever, just know that it is your style. You can do what you want, and stay encouraged, right? Don't let anybody tell you that you're doing wrong or something. Keep going.
Man, we started with stick figures. Come on.
Right. Heck, even I started out with stick figures. I know it's hard to believe, being that y'all saw me out the gate already, just bam. Nah, took years to build. But with that being said, now I know you mentioned some of the media that has affected your work. Transformers being one of them, a family favorite. Oh, Minus is saying something. This is one of our viewers. I like to take two of my favorite art styles and put them together. So that's cool, Minus. Seriously.
Yeah, that's really dope. Just keep creating, because guess what? You're going to create your own style. And that's what people like, originality. Mm-hmm. People are buying originality because now with the advancement of AI and people doing stuff like that, that's why people like to see people and hear people. And that's why you'll see a lot of YouTubers that are top of the chart, because they're real people.
Yeah. Because
computers are taking over. But guess what? We still want the authentic you.
Yeah, that's very true. You're like, this is like the first time AI has been brought up in this on this side of the internet. But yeah, to get back on track, yeah, it's true that people like authenticity. But like I said, like I was about to lead into the the next question, or shall I say, next part of the conversation, because you like you had mentioned earlier, I lost my train of thought. Give me a second. Transformers is one of the things that really impacted your work outside of Godzilla and superheroes and all that stuff. Were there any other like pieces of media that also impacted your work?
Video games. There was the rise of the video game, like PlayStation and all that kind of stuff, and Nintendo and Sega, because you saw art in motion, art being used as video games. Everything is art. I remember when you was in school, and we was going through your credits, and your the guidance counselor was knocking you out of the art class that you wanted to do to put you in like orchestra or something.
Right.
And I asked the young lady, well, what type of job can she get with that? Of course, she couldn't answer, and I said, yeah, she would have to move to New York and be good and be in that orchestra up there. But that's a long shot. And then I started asking her these questions. I started looking at stuff in her office. I started pointing at stuff. I said, who think you made that? Who made that? Who made that? I said, an artist designed that. A graphic designer designed that. It wouldn't be here if it wasn't an artist. So I said she got a whole lot of chance she could do with art than she could be in an orchestra. So yeah, that's why you have to look at what's happening today, and you can keep creating. And so that's what impacted me. Everything around me, the trees. I should draw a lot of things outside, like trees, mountains. I did the scenery stuff too.
Yeah. Yeah, you just dropping bars, man.
That's what we do. I love art. Don't matter. Even working full time. Even when I was in Kuwait, over in the desert, I was still drawing my comics after I get off work. After being out there hot sun, in the uniform, I would go back to my room, pull out my paper, and draw. And I had this comic book series that I won't name on here, but I still did it for several years after I got from 16 all the way up to 28 to 30.
Yeah. And, it's really cool, too, that, like, because when you were showing me and my brothers like all the artwork you did too, I was like, oh snap, that's really cool. Because like I said earlier in stream, you are one of my inspirations for why I got into art in the first place.
Awesome. Now you turn around and say, Dad, go draw something today.
Yes,
draw
exactly.
Something.
Every single day, every time I had time, I'm like, hey, you got to draw something, Rudy. You are not slacking. You better draw something.
Yeah, it is the adage. You don't use it, you lose it. Yeah, you lose your skills, but then it's not like riding a bike. As soon as you get back on it, you get back doing it and you enjoy it. And one thing I find great about being an artist is you in your own world. Mm-hmm. And that's how I understood God in the Bible, by being an artist. I understood how a being could know what everybody doing, what everybody's faith was, if they're going to live, if they're going to die, if they're going to be strong, they're going to be weak. Because we design characters.
Yeah. On a daily.
We tell them what they look like, what they're going to be like, stuff like that. So when you are an artist, you create. That's what you love doing.
Yeah. I mean, it's our whole, it's in our blood, it's in our DNA. We create.
Look, this computer was drawn up by somebody. It was an idea. We take stuff and put it into existence. And that's what we do. If we see it in our mind, we create it.
Yeah.
And then we design it some more and we say, hey, let's put it in a scenery. Let's make it move. So what I would say, if you have a computer, enhance what you do. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with drawing something, tracing over it to make it better, scan it in, color it again, and that's it. You created it first.
Right.
I've seen people arguing about that. I say, look, if you drew it, it's your own.
Yeah.
It's yours. Do what you got to do.
Yeah.
Haters.
You do what you like. really just focus more on you and your art, and you'll do just fine.
It's yours. Remember that.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, do you enjoy it? Right?
Right.
It's gonna be hard pressed sometimes to find supporters of what you do, especially being an artist, because people don't understand. They don't understand why you do what you do, because you might not understand what they do.
Right.
Right? But you're not gonna just say, don't do that.
Right.
Unless it's something that's against the law. I would hope you would stop them.
Right.
I would hope you would. Be like,
Right.
nah, don't do that. Because it's not gonna end well. It's not gonna end well.
Right. But with that being said, do we have any questions? I know we we talked a good while about all this. Mine said, I was just thinking haters be hating. Yeah.
You know why a lot of them hate is because they can't create what you do. They desire it, and so they want to discourage you. But I always look at this. They do something better than me, and sometimes they don't look at that. They look at the impossibilities instead of their possibilities. So, but they gonna do what they do. But you create. Why they hate, you create.
Yep. Let's see. So Shake said, "Cool. Video games also started my art experience." Yeah. I think for both me and Dad, we both had video games influence our work.
Well, yeah. Again, like I said before, you seeing the possibilities of art. Even though we have our favorite TV shows, cartoons, like I watched the X-Men, the Spider-Man, G.I. Joe, the original Gundam, all the shows, Thundercats, He-Man, you name it. All of that stuff. And to see the art in motion, man, that was pretty awesome for me.
Right.
And then what I always wanted was, like, to be able to design a character and then have it, an action figure or something made. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's what I always wanted.
Oh, D, you got a question? Go right ahead. Go ahead, shoot. Oh. But yeah, in the meantime, while I'm waiting for the response, but yeah, seeing art in motion is also one thing that I really appreciate too. And then just going out of your way, because just imagining looking at just one image of a character or whatever that you drew, and you're thinking, okay, I know exactly how they will move in this scene, and you going out of your way to just kind of sketch it out. Speaking of sketch it out, have you ever did the little flip book animations?
That's exactly what crossed my mind. Hey, but this is before most of you guys' times. The Encyclopedia Britannica. There was somebody that used to come out of the house and actually sell encyclopedias, books, and my grandma would have a lot of them. And so what we'd do is start drawing these little stick figures and making them move and do stuff. We did it on all those books. But that was something, it was something to us. It was like inspiration. You look at a child when he goes out, the one that's not been hindered by grown-ups, he would go out and take whatever and start using his imagination. And that's what we do.
Okay. So D wrote out his question. So he said, since I came late, I don't know if he answered this, but when you look at others for inspiration, what do you normally look for to help your perspective to be better and the steps to improve?
Normally what I look for is somebody who's out there doing something different, right? Not doing the copycat media, because sometimes you just run into somebody whose style is pretty neat. And I would not try to do it just because somebody said to. It's just usually the way somebody colors. Like if you look at JL, what she does with the shading and all this,
Shading and lighting?
The lighting and shading the face. I lost my chain of thought. And the gradients. I can't believe that. But anyway, she does that. She's mastered that. But it depends on what you're looking for, right? If you're looking for somebody to say, man, they really do hands well, or they really draw superheroes well, that's what I would look for. I said, okay, who is doing this well? And then I would adopt that and then I would change it into my own style. And that's what I look for. Something that inspires me, that's doing something different.
Yeah. Shoot, I pretty much do the same thing. The apple doesn't fall too far from the tree, huh?
Well, if you look at it, okay, I went to I went to a lot of schools. All right, I went to school for web design, graphic design, and multimedia design. And Full Sail, of course, JL went to Full Sail too. So we're both alumni of Full Sail. What they do is teach you what's current, what's happening now. And they would say, go do some research. And they would ask you, why did you make this move? Or why did you create this? Why did you do this line, this curve, whatever? Why did you choose this shade? They taught you how to be a better critiquer of work. And so what it made you do is think about everything you design. You start asking yourself questions. So when you design a logo or anything like that, you know why you did it. So if a customer say, why did you do that? You can say, there's a story behind it.
D said that's perfect. Yeah, I agree 100%. Yeah, straight up. Zeta, he said, same here. I've wanted to see one of the characters I create become a figure. Yeah, same. I do too.
I think that's awesome. I think most people do. If you don't want to do that, I don't know. You create your own character, man. I mean, look at it. I mean, I got a lot of Transformers that I buy and just keep because one thing inspired me too about the Transformers. They're the puzzle that was made. They were full robot and yet full toy and automobile or whatever was designed. You looked at this thing, it was new. It was something totally different than what we had before. And you saw the creativity. And when I watched the show that they had on Netflix to talk about the toys that made us, oh, it really inspired me more of how they came up with this stuff. It was pretty awesome. Yep.
Yeah. Because we watched that show together, The Toys That Made Us. Like, that also inspired me, too. I was like, bro, I'm going to take this, like, even further. Because, like, it's nice to see behind the scenes, like, how a lot of these different toys, shows, and movies and stuff get made. And I like watching a lot of that kind of stuff. Because it just helps, I guess, kind of reaffirm that, oh, okay, you're on the right track. You know, you're doing things right. Like, this stuff doesn't go, kind of happen in a day. It takes time for this stuff to build.
Yeah, did you say that reminded of something I used to do with you guys when we go watch a movie? Because you guys are creating stuff by yourself, and you sometimes get discouraged because it's getting done fast. I said, we'll watch the credits and say, look at how many people it took to create the graphics, the designs, the animation. I said, they have a whole team of 50 to 100 people to create what you saw on this screen. What you're doing by yourself in an amount of time, that's pretty awesome. Give yourself a pat in the back for that. Don't get discouraged. Be encouraged because you're doing it on your own. But these movies were created by hundreds and thousands of people. So that's what that reminded me of. So don't get discouraged. Be encouraged that you're able and have the skill set to do what many people don't.
Yeah. Minus has a question. He said, who's your favorite character?
Starscream.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Starscream, like G1. He's one of my favorite characters, yes.
Look, go ahead, keep pouring in your questions, guys. But in the meantime, so Pops.
Yep.
All right, so what's your I have a question. So what is your favorite, like, art medium to use?
Wow. It's changed over time. What I started out was color pencils.
Yeah, I like color pencils too.
Color pencils.
Like, Because later on, I eventually started using the uhu. How do you say their name?
Don't ask me those markers, okay? I gotta set them up. I gotta set them
It's
too.
the UHUH. I don't know. How would you say those markers? But I like using those.
And those markers that we use, that if you buy that little manga set of markers, those are good too, because they have the 1 point, the 2 point, the 0.5 tips on them, and that you can do the shading and the outlines with. So, but yeah, color pencil has always been my favorite.
Dad Phoenix, you got another Starscream fan.
That's what I'm talking about. Everybody sleep on Starscream for the original, and they kind of like punk him out in the newer shows. But yo, he is the best, because he would always take on Megatron, but then he'll act like he was a coward. Nah, Starscream was a brilliant scientist and a tactician.
Yeah, he was. I mean, like, because we had rewatched G1 again, because Dad got me the entire DVD box set. So yeah,
So you're right.
But I was rewatching. We were rewatching. What's it? The episode when he was bringing. Was it the? No, it was the Combaticons. It was the I forget.
It was a Combaticon.
Was it? Okay, yeah. When he was bringing in the Combaticons, and like he went out of his way to first off, he went to Cybertron, took the criminal Decepticons and put them in new bodies, and then he was like, all right, I know they're gonna turn on me eventually, let me like put this like little fail safe on them, right? So when they were like, it was like later on in the episode when they try to have their own little like uprising against like Starscream, right? He was just like, "Ha! You thought I wouldn't see that coming, but I did."
So that's what I'm trying to tell you. Yeah.
Yep. All right. Yeah, but you gotta love the originals. Oh. Yes, he created the Combaticons. Yeah. Dad Phoenix had just reconfirmed that, because I was like, "What was it?"
It's all good.
Yeah.
It's all good.
Um,
Support.
Yeah. Right.
That's what I'm talking about. Let's go.
I mean, being that we have a Starscream fan in here, do we have Soundwave fans? Like, I'm a Soundwave fan, and I would feel pretty lonely if we don't have at least one other Soundwave fan. Or maybe betrayed if we don't have at least one. I mean, like, come on. Dude's dope.
He probably got some Cliff Jumper fans.
You know what? I gotta feel bad for Cliff Jumper fans. Like, honestly, they just disrespect my man, you know? It's like they never respect him. I don't know what they have against them. It's like almost every version of Transformers lately has been trying to kill him off. This conversation really got me in the mood to write my characters out. You should, D. You should.
Awesome. Let's get it. That's what we're here for. Our artist community should inspire each other, not tear each other down. Yeah, real artists, we enjoy everybody's art, no matter what style it is, as long as it makes sense.
Yeah.
Some art don't make sense. You can't just take stuff on put a dot or something on a wall and say that's art. Nah, that's just a way to. Yeah, let me not get into that. But anyway, creators understand the process of creating, from taking something that's in your mind and saying, putting it on this piece of paper, and I'm gonna make it look like this. And at the end of the day, I can put it on a T-shirt or something. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, Shake, you're amazing. I'm glad you also like Soundwave.
You're the Soundwave fan. That's all.
Yay! Good. A 2-for-1.
No, you Starscream fans. We rock.
Nah. I also gotta be weary, y'all. Y'all the main ones with the best strategies. Alright, look, I haven't told y'all this story, but like, so me and Dad Phoenix, we were playing Mario Party recently, and so we were going up against the computers, all right? So we already know, okay, you know, we're gonna obviously be trying to go up against each other, but like, I'd tell you, they cheat. Those computers be cheating. We sat there the whole time. You know, we have our own strategies. We're like, okay, look, I'm gonna set up this trap. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna make sure I get enough money so that way I can get that star. I don't know, man. I don't know how was the because it was Waluigi and Birdo that we had on the as the CP. So um how did he beat me at the end? It makes no sense. I put in all that work to get those superstars.
They gave him the bonus star to take you down. So.
Yeah, they did. Right, Shake? Yeah, I love him as well. Does still talk about Soundwave.
That's good. That's right. We all artists. If you don't have something inspires all artists. Even if they don't admit it. Something inspires you.
All right.
Do what you do. Again, I Transformers G1 was one of the major inspires. When that came out, when that dropped, that was awesome.
Right. Right, Shake, you agree with me. CPU is just something. Like it makes no sense. I don't know why they do this. But yeah, to talking about like, some more nerdy content since we're on the subject, because nerd art and video games, all this stuff, they all course sides. So favorite game.
Wow. But if I had to get one off the top of my head, it would be Metal Gear.
Yeah.
The original. Except I had my had my thoughts about the last one, the one I think it was called Phantom Pain.
Yeah, it's Phantom Pain.
Okay. I got my thoughts about that, but again, the original Metal Gears, there was some solid games back in the day. When you had to take the controller to switch it to the other one, that's like unheard of.
Yeah, right. It was Psycho Mantis.
Yeah.
Like he'd be reading off all these games and stuff. It's sad that I missed out on that though, because you didn't have that game anymore by the time I was around.
It's a story that what had happened was eBay was on the rise, and I was trying to be an eBay star, so I sold a lot of my original games, which now I kind of. Okay, if I got a regret, remember I asked that question first. I have a regret. I sold all those old games.
Yeah.
For basically nothing.
Yeah. That
on
hurt.
eBay.
Yeah, that hurt. Cause cause the crazy thing is I get taunted, right? Cause like he's got this book where he has the manuals and stuff of all the games.
Yeah, I still got all the original manuals, man, that you won't find anymore since everything is digital now. But right. I got all these little books of all the games that you had to play. Let me talk about something back in the day. Also, was cool was when these fighting games, Street Fighter was actually one of the games that it was like the funnest game ever. So that's when Street Fighter also was a game that was one of my favorites too. Favoritist. Original Street Fighter. And we had Street Fighter Turbo, and then we had all these other Street Fighters come out, and then Tekken came out. Oh man, we had Killer Instinct. Those games that you guys probably only dream about on the coin op. There was arcades we actually went into that we put quarters and said who next, on top of the thing. And so, yeah, we spent a lot of quarters in those arcades back in the day.
Yeah, we only got like a smidgen of that, and that's because they're slowly but surely phasing them out.
Well, I mean, if you look at it now, everybody got these computer system and gaming systems at home. But yeah, coming up, that was something else. Doing that, it was like we look forward to going to the mall, and we'll meet our friends there, and we'll battle it out with MK and all those other ones.
Yeah, it's so funny because every now and then we come together as a family and we all play like at least one or two games together. I remember when we were playing it was Killer Instinct, yeah, the one on the Nintendo 64.
we played a lot of Marvel vs. Capcom.
Yeah, that's like the OG game that we all sat down and played. I remember the first time we played it on it was a PlayStation 3 back then first, and then we later on got the PS4 version. Yeah. But man, I don't know, for some reason I just can't beat my old man. It makes no sense. Also,
what is it, last Christmas or what it was that we was challenging on Zelda the original?
Yeah. We still got that challenge going on.
I think I got what 2 more to get.
You have 2 more dungeons. I have 3. Cause like I'm still stuck on the it's the 5th dungeon, and you just you had just completed the 6th one.
That's right. Any more questions down in the comment chat?
Yeah, like feel free to ask any questions. It could be like, video games, art, tablets, computers.
Oh, I will say one thing, that if you're an artist, have some kind of portfolio somewhere.
Oh yes.
I know you was gonna ask me that question, but I'm gonna get it before you ask me.
Well, hey,
The biggest problem that I have as an artist is putting my art somewhere. I do a lot of art for people, designs for companies, t-shirts, you name it, and logos and websites. But if you ask me where my stuff is, you're not gonna find it. So rule number 1, make sure you put your art somewhere, preferably on your own website, something like that. So that way you can go to it, what have you. Mm-hmm. I have a YouTube channel that I started years ago.
Minus.
I started because of, in my graphic design class, we had to have some place to put our work so they can grade it, and they told to put the videos as unlisted. Mm-hmm. And so it's my design action. So, but yeah, so make sure you have a place to put your work, because you never know, somebody might hire you as a freelancer.
Okay, so we have a question in the comments. Zeta said he has an art question. So he said, how often should one practice?
As much as they can.
Yeah.
Every day you should do something. But if you can't, just get it in, man, because it's something you love to do. But that's what I would say. Make time for it. Just get it in. If you draw a triangle today and shade it, okay, you drew something.
Yeah.
It's just like anything you do.
Yeah. You don't have to necessarily finish an entire piece within a day. Like, if you do not have the energy to do it, don't force yourself to do it. Otherwise, you're not going to like it.
Oh, and that also reminds me of something that me and your uncle we would say, hey, just put this away. We didn't like it at first. We like, because usually you'll ball it up and throw it away. But we found out over the years growing up, just take it, put it away to the side, and then years later we look at it, hey, this is actually pretty dope. Maybe we could use this. That's it.
Yeah. So
even the stuff you think you mess up, just keep it in your little book.
Right. Yeah. Shoot, that was one thing that Dad often said to me a lot too. Like, oh yeah, don't throw away your art, keep it. So I have like I got buckets, bags, folders full of like just artwork from way back in the old past of kindergarten all the way up to my adult years. What?
I'm the guest. You asked me questions. I'm here supporting your channel, GL Phoenix Productions.
You looked over at me like you wanted to say something.
I just literally say, hey, how you doing?
Hi, how you doing?
All right.
Hi, how are you? Yeah. Oh, speaking of art, so like, one thing, because I mentioned this earlier too about the fact that, you have your old comics and all that stuff, especially with how, like, because I'm going to take a second to like gush over the fact that like how you colored them and everything is so cool. Because he does like a combination of like color pencils, markers, and highlighters, pens, whatever he had at disposal, right? And just like put them together. And for those of you who've been on the channel since like I first started, you've probably seen me use those techniques on my videos, combining multiple mediums in one drawing. But that was just one thing I do really appreciate from your works and stuff, that you would do that.
Yeah, because we didn't let anything hold us back, what the teacher taught us in class or whatever somebody said, because we grew up self-taught. We just drew. We saw what we did and we drew. And then when we got in class, what's funny was the instructor would give us an assignment, and we always went opposite and did whatever we wanted. but we would use the assignment instructions, but we still would draw something different.
Right.
And what get me today, she kept some of my art.
Funny how that works.
Yeah, it's all good.
Oh my God. So mine has said, looks back at my stack of papers with my drawings. Good advice.
Yes, go look back. I'm telling you right now, you're gonna look at some of the stuff that you thought was like trash. You're gonna be like, yo, this is pretty tight. Let me go ahead and do this. Let me modify this and modify that. And you're gonna come up with a new story.
Yeah.
And now today, you got so many things you can put your stuff on. Patreon, Amazon, all kind of stuff. They don't have to be long.
Yeah.
You can deliver shorts. Okay, I'm gonna give you guys an idea.
Oh boy, an idea.
It's like, you know how you podcast in a series or you do live streams, stuff like that. And I forgot what it's called, but in Amazon, you can do parts of a book and then a series and a series and a series. But there's so many ways that you can get your art out, sell it, make money off of it. The sky is the limit. It's pretty, man, being born this time is awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. Especially since, like, you know, we do have access to more platforms and stuff that you could put your stuff on, get more people, get more eyes on it and everything.
Yeah.
And, you know, so as long as you keep to your craft, you know, you don't get discouraged, right?
And I would say this again, as we said earlier, there's always gonna be somebody gonna have something to say. You can do something good, they're gonna have something bad to say. You can do something bad, they're gonna have something bad to say. So you stay focused on what you do. Your fans are gonna love what you do. All right, don't get caught up on the person that say, I don't like the way you drew those muscles. I drew them that way because I wanted to.
I just want to, that's fine.
Because I wanted to.
And mine has said, I will admit, I didn't realize how good I shade some of my stuff back then. Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about.
If some of you do know me, Minus, go way back. Yeah, like that was because I like a lot of your artwork, Minus. Like every time I look at it, I'm like, dang.
Congratulations, man. Congratulations. Keep up the great work.
I was like, I always just like how you go about with the shading and how you draw your characters and everything. It's so unique.
Yeah, man, that's your style. Keep with it.
All right.
Bring it.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, but with that being said, are there any other questions? In the meantime, we're gonna kind of see. You got another topic you wanna dive into?
Another topic we want to dive into. There's always something I could talk about.
Well, of course. I like hearing you talk.
It's your live stream. Well, I would say this. I just want to leave some more encouragement to your listeners and to your subscribers and to everybody in the art world. Always know that you're in control of what you do. Everybody's not going to believe in what you do, but you need to believe in yourself more than everybody believes in you. Your supporters going to love what you do, but you got to love what you do and be encouraged. Not everybody's going to encourage you. Trust me. I've been on this planet a bunch of years.
Yeah.
Right? Those people that you think supposed to be your so-called aces, friends, whatever you want to call them, they sometimes become haters on whatever it is. But don't let that stop you from doing what you do. You got to be like Steve Jobs says. Think different.
This man's just dropping nuggets. I hope y'all eating this up. I'm like, I'm gonna take another second to praise my dad again. Because, you know, growing up with a father that really cares about what you do and that supports it. Like, yeah, he's hard on me because he's like, you know, I know you can perform better.
Doggone right. You don't listen. You don't. When you got a gift, you don't want to squander it because you feel like you got time. You want to take everything and level it up.
Right. But to continue what I was gonna say, but yeah, it's always been amazing having you in my life, and just being there and being a big support, um, and really pushing me to the level that I've gotten to. Like anytime I had any sort of question, like, man, I don't know if I could do this, or like, oh, I don't think I understand this program all too much. You're always there to really help. So, thank you.
You are so welcome, JL. welcome.
Yeah. But at any rate, if there are no more questions, we will begin to wrap up. But thank you again, Dad, for showing up and coming to the stream.
I appreciate being on JL Productions and you considering me to be able to be honored to be on your show. Man, it's great.
Yeah.
Appreciate that.
Might have said wisdom of the Blue Phoenix. Yes. Yes, much wisdom. Always pick his brain.
You better.
But yeah. So like I said, we're gonna get ready to wrap up. Thank you thank you everybody for showing up. I really appreciate this. I know today's stream was kind of on the short side of things, but just wanted to take a second to talk with my dad and have you guys meet Dad Phoenix. So so yeah, let's start going into our ending here. So yeah, once again, thank you all for showing up. I really appreciate it. Your support means a lot to me. Once again, thank you, Dad Phoenix, for being here. And don't forget to like, subscribe, leave a comment. You can just put shrimp in the comment if you want to, because for those of you who saw live stream, Also, on top of that, if you want to support the channel, feel free to join the Patreon. I will drop the link in the comment. That's what we call it? The live comment, live chat?
Call it whatever you will.
We're going to call it the live comment
Let's
chat.
Support JL Phoenix Productions.
Yep, and you can go on there. You can support the channel. You can get wallpapers, get lovely updates, lots of updates.
And she got some gear and stuff too that you can get. I want to say this while she's closing out. I bought this little phone case for her book that's coming out